the idea of nostalgia is that it is a glorified memory, right? One usually that you want to return to. So like nostalgia is like glorifying the past, but it's glorifying it through very personal means, right? Because like the past, like how I remember the past, not how you remember the past. It's like how you want to remember.
Nostalgia to me, I think, is just like a feeling of comfort you get from remembering the past. I think it comes from a yearning of not having like the complexity of being an adult, even though I'm not like, a full adult yet, but it's creeping up. We're getting there. I guess like a yearning for when times were simpler and you had less to worry about, and it was easier to feel happy, I guess.
Nostalgia, to me, it's brought on. I think it happens to everybody. It's brought on by emotion. It's a situation or something that you saw, felt, and emotionally you were attached to it somehow.
I mean, it's important. I think nostalgia, it brings us back to more important, more simple times in life. And I think we all need the ability to recognize that, despite all the bullshit that we're living through and all the work we have to do and all the people we have to please and all the people we have to deal with, it's important to find some sort of comfort in things that you like old TV shows or movies, video games. I'll definitely run some Call of Duty Zombies. That was like my childhood. Or even just recently, I was playing one of the old Lego Batman games because, I don't know, man, sometimes we need a break from all this shit.
Whenever I hear like the Xbox 360 like Minecraft music, or like I'll hear like a lot of like video game stuff, or like like Windows XP, like the boot up noise, a lot of like audio cues will give me that warm feeling.
Because I feel like nostalgia can be attached to any piece of media, or even like a perfume or like a food. Like people have been playing zombies for years now, over 20 years. Does that mean that it's nostalgic for everybody? Not necessarily. Does that mean it was nostalgic for me? Because that's what I played when I was a kid? Absolutely. But it's not necessarily the piece of media that we're referring to that causes the nostalgia. Nostalgia is individual to everybody.
Every once in a while, I'll replay like an old video game from my childhood. Like I'll revisit like Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and that'll bring me back. I think it's hard to remove the item or the cue from the time period. It's more like the time period kind of cues you in and gives you a glimpse back into that time period.
Sunshine Superman by Donovan. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and that is nostalgic for me because that was played on a vinyl 45. I would hear it on the radio, and my sister got the 45, and we would play it all the time. And that's pretty cool. I mean, back then to have something physical that you heard on the radio was pretty new back then, that technology.
Passing Out Pieces by Mac DeMarco. Brings me back to 8th grade, high school. Very different kid. Yeah. But yeah, that song is just, that song has really come a long way in my head. Its meaning.
If I want to like boost my serotonin real quick, I'll put on the Jack Johnson album that came out for the Curious George movie. I'll put on like Upside Down or Banana Pancakes. There's a few other bangers on that album, like Sitting, Waiting, Wishing. It's a good album, man. Like I'll put that on like while I'm having like an anxiety attack, and it'll just like chill me out a little bit,
I don't want to name any specific movie, but they're like you have your feel-good films, and you have the films that you're gonna watch when you want to cry, when you want to laugh, when you want to be in love, when you want to scream, right? We feel what we see in the movies. It's hard to go to a movie and be like, I felt nothing, because then that's not an effective movie. But then how those feelings then shape how we experience our lives moving forward, and how that then shapes our memories from things, in the past.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you were...
Yes, there's lots of old movies. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid was a classic. I saw that when I was living in Colombia, South America.
All right. I'll jump first.
Nope.
Then you jump first.
No, I said.
What's the matter with you?
I can't swim!
Why, are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
And so, yeah, I have nostalgia, not for being in Colombia, but for the time around that movie. Again, the emotional of living in Colombia at the time.
Oh, shit!
Yeah. Nostalgia drives everything in marketing. We see that with like every Super Bowl commercial now. I mean, right now we're in the nostalgia of the 90s, right? So all the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, styles come back in fashion. And everyone's like, oh, look, it's like we're in the 80s now, or whatever, right? All products are pretty much just packaged up. I'm sure there's a clip you could find from Mad Men about dreams, right?
Nostalgia literally means the pain from an old wound. It's a twinge in your heart, far more powerful than memory alone. This device isn't a spaceship. It's a time machine.
Don Draper saying something about probably in that first episode even, right? Where it is all about dreams and nostalgia.
Nude crush cups. Check it out. I crush the alien. Well, I crush the director. I crush the tiki. I crush a Danimals Crush Cup. Huh? Yeah, new Danimals Crush Cups. You crush it and slurp it. Mmm, cool. No spoon? Nope. Just crush and slurp for a blast of fruity flavor. Mmm, awesome. I crush you crushing a Danimals Crush Cup.
Wow. I haven't seen that in so long. Like, even before we were playing it up, like, I haven't seen it. Like, you guys even made a comment about, like, this shit. I didn't even remember what you were talking about. I was like, what? And then seeing that video, I was like, wow. Like, that was really on, like, Nickelodeon and, like, TV, like, for kids all the time. And I never even ate that shit. I never had Danimals Crush Cups? Yeah. No, I never even had that shit. But, like, the fact that that's still a prominent memory in the back of my head somewhere. I don't know, that's like, you don't even, it's subconscious in a way. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I crushed the director. No, that was a genius marketing campaign. Bro, I bet they were betting on people bro, I just did it unironically just now before we started talking about it, oh, I crushed it, Yeah. I don't know.
Where they're talking about the Danimals Crush Cups, and I'm crushing. I immediately flash back to Kids in the Hall, where there was a joke where I'm crushing your head, and I saw, I don't know if you can call it double nostalgia, but yeah, I saw the Danimals Crush Cup and the same thing, and even then I was saying, well, that's nostalgic, or reminds you of the Kids in the Hall, although the kids who were seeing the Danimals were not aware of it. So here I can have two nostalgic moments, although they're not nostalgic because I don't have any emotional attachment to it. So a lot of people will attach nostalgic to an era or something, and then anything in that era could be nostalgic.
So using nostalgia in a campaign for the long-term brand equity It depends on what the product is. So if it's a product that's been around for a long time, typically using nostalgia, going back in time in an ad or a character that they've used. So I'll use McDonald's as an example. So they recently used Grimace again in one of their ads, and that was hearkening back to another time. They also use a menu item, for example, the McRib. They continually bring that product out once a year to get people excited about it, something to look forward to as a seasonal item. So I think it can be used for a long-term campaign.
What's the movie? Like, it's like an old movie, but the famous scene is like where the lady's like she's like having an orgasm. They redid that scene for like a Cold Cuts commercial, and Sydney Sweeney says the famous line,
I'll have what she's having.
and it's like, yeah, and man, like we come full circle with that stuff, you know? It's like, oh, this famous scene. And then a few Super Bowls ago, you got Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul doing the popcorners with I forget the name of the guy that plays Tuco, but like they paid him enough money to come back as that character. And it's a crazy context because it's like they're selling meth, you know, like, and they're making like a chip ad out of it. But it's like, oh, nostalgia, like it's cool, you know? I don't know. The one that takes the cake is they had that whole series of ads for Cinnamon Toast Crunch where they just had them like chasing them around in circles, like it's kind of a messed up ad campaign. Yeah. Like it's so delicious that like they cannibalize each other. Like that's the whole gag. What? Dude, bro, look at we just got a trailer or a teaser for Shrek 5, you know? And everybody thinks it looks like shit just because like the animation got updated, you know? And it's like, well, yeah, that's gonna happen.
In a sense of nostalgia, right? Like Rocky 1, obviously harkening back on other boxing movies before that, like Somebody Up There Likes Me, or Rocky Marciano, right? The actual figure. Rocky 2, it keeps like that same structure of that it's still not a boxing movie, right? It's still very much a love story. Love story more for boxing now, but then when you start getting to Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, don't get me wrong, love the movies, but they very much become boxing movies. And so where they start trying to capitalize on the nostalgia of that feeling that we get at the end when Rocky and Adrian come together, starts to get lost, right? And it turns into its like its own thing under the guise of nostalgia, under the guise of Rocky.
An upcoming example, Kirby Air Riders, is a new Nintendo game that's coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2. Kirby Air Ride, the original, is a GameCube game that I have been playing since I was 4 years old, and I played that game so much. And that is one that I'm looking forward to regardless of whether or not people are going to think it's good, because I will be jumping on that. So I guess that's an example where, yeah, they are definitely grabbing my nostalgia, and I'll fall for it. With games, these remasters and stuff, the reason they're successful is because it's cheaper to make it, and it's going to be successful anyway. I mean, Pokemon is a good example. Like, everybody still buys the new Pokemon games because it's Pokemon. Everybody looks back on whatever their favorite Pokemon game was, which is whatever Pokemon game came out when they were 7 to 10 years old. And I'm mad that I'm going to buy Kirby Air Riders because I'm not going to say it's probably going to be bad, because I want it to be good so bad. But it probably won't be, just because they're picking at your nostalgia instead of just making something good that's worth buying.
It's kind of going back to what I said about the zombies. Like, it's not necessarily the media. It's literally the time that the people, tuned into his stuff or played the games that he played or, took part in that community. So I would say it's definitely the time period more so than like the actual thing that people are attached to. Because it brings them back to a time of more like innocence, more like simplicity.
I mean, the only difference is time. I mean, it's still, I think it's still the same thing. You can have the same nostalgia. I don't think you can measure it on a scale because it's based on emotion. So you can be just as emotional about something 5 years ago. That for you, that's nostalgia because you're a lot younger. I can have stages of nostalgia in decades, for example, because of my age.
Like I keep on saying, like our nostalgia is constantly changing, right? With our memories, and our memories are always altering. The nostalgia that we had about the same thing is never the same. So if these movies really can't change or adapt with the changing nostalgia, like why do we feel this certain way? But they keep on playing with like the same tropes, the same objects, images, thinking that we haven't grown, then they're missing the point. In cinema, the wheel has been built and set for over 100 years now. It's really how we arrange those things, how we turn the wheel, right? It's the gears, it's the mechanisms that turn the wheel that we change. But the wheel is always there, and we don't need to fix it. But it's how we turn it, how we become more efficient, how we change its orientation, right? That's what's always changing.
Non tornare più. Non ci pensare mai a noi. Non ti voltare, non scrivere. Non ti fare fottere dalla nostalgia. Dimenticaci tutti. Se non resisti e torni indietro, non venirmi a trovare. Non ti faccio entrare a casa mia. Lo capiste?